They said it couldn't be done.
Oh boy,
Were they wrong?
London Taxi Radio.
London Taxi Radio, the station just for cabbies.
We talk about trade apathy, but I think that's been going on since time immemorial. And I don't know that there's a lot we can do about that apart from trying to crack on and get people excited about the cab trade. But my problem is, and the way I see it, is you're not going to improve the knowledge, or you're not going to incentivize people to take on board the knowledge without improving the trade or making the trade attractive. So we could talk about making it shorter, but unless they are incentivized into doing the knowledge by there being an attractive trade, it's not going to change. And the only way that is going to improve if you reinstate the demarcation between private hire and taxis. It has been enmeshed so much that I don't think anybody looking on it, when they look at the choice and they look at Uber and they probably look at something like Get, because the street hail has been minimised. It's not even talked about. It's not talked about the attractiveness of the street hail. When they look at these, they go, well, there's not much difference between the two. Let's just go and work for Uber. Why would you do 4 years to work for probably the same kind of working model as Uber is? It's exactly the same. So there's no incentive there. And I think the idea of minimising the knowledge is never spoken about. Ever spoken about. When they talk about licensing criteria, you will always have Uber come on and say they undergo the same licensing criteria as black cabs, because it's usually under the premise of safety. When evidently they don't. They do not have to go through a 3-year stringent licensing process. But it's never said, never spoken about by TfL. It's minimised to the point that it just isn't mentioned at all. And I think when you look at safety and when you look at efficiency on the road, you're looking at the knowledge. That is the differential. And I think somehow that's what TfL has to do. They say they can't promote the knowledge. It's not about promoting the knowledge. It's about the differential that exists and the difference between private hire and taxis. But to enmesh them does us all a disservice. There's a lot of vested interest in the trade, as there always has been. But they're not going to lobby on the side of the cab driver. They're not going to lobby on the side of the taxi trade, because it's not in their favour to do so. So I think what is TfL going to do, because that's who it comes down to, the regulator. It shouldn't come down to cab drivers as much as we should be participatory in PR. It shouldn't come down to them. They didn't buy into this. They didn't buy into the political turmoil. They bought into doing the knowledge, going out there, working hard and going home and feeding their families. So we can all blame the cab driver, and yes, we all should take responsibility. But if they don't, they don't. And that's evidential, isn't it? What needs to happen is TfL needs to reinstate the demarcation and the clarity and the benefits of being a licensed taxi driver. And that's the way I see it.
You found London Taxi Radio, the station for London's taxi drivers.
Now, more of your favorites.
London Taxi Radio.
The best radio station on the planet.